setting up the podcast scenery.
It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who's gonna watch this? Your wife is gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Actually, let me make sure that it. You want to look at it first? Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see you.
Perfect.
I didn't set up the orientation properly. Now I can tip it down if I want to. That pesky orientation. Alrighty. There's a 50% chance I'm gonna fall.
I know, yeah. Sitting down is like, oh, it's a little sketchy, but it's okay.
So one thing I noticed in one video I did sitting in these chairs is I sat like wide open like this at first. So I've been trying to sit like a little bit like that just so it's not right down my crotch.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
There you go.
Who knows what the audio's like? Like it seems like the creek is a little bit loud.
Yeah, it could be a little loud, but then the stream's right there. So I wonder if since it's back there,
Maybe.
then the audio will be fine.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Who cares? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
We were talking about what we like about other podcasts, right?
Yes.
Is that what you still want to talk about?
Sure, if that's what you want to talk about.
Okay, cool.
Stoked either way.
Awesome.
Set us up, Keith.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is just our podcast, I guess, where we're just kind of getting together and talking about life and things. And I guess to start off, that's what I like about a lot of podcasts, like the Perrys, for example. I feel like they welcome a lot of people into like what's kind of going on in their world, and then they take a lot of their beliefs and actually put that into practice, and then tell stories about it. Like Preston Perry shares stories all the time about conversations that he's having with people on the streets, or Mormons that he's talking to on the plane, and he's just like sharing his experience, sharing what he's learning, and then just like talking to the world about it. And I think it's super cool.
Yeah. Since I knew we were doing this today, and since you brought me In-N-Out last night, while I was waiting for you to bring me In-N-Out, I was just listening to. There was a video at one point that I saw Joe Rogan talking about the way he does his podcast and why. Specifically, he makes all the guests wear headphones. And the reason is he's playing through the headphones the audio that the audience is going to see, if that makes sense. And he said that that was huge doing that because one big problem that you have in podcasts, especially if you have more than two people, is people just trying to talk over each other and trying to get their point across and like trying to get the attention and all that. And I guess that was another thing I wanted to talk about in this first episode was I like the way I want to come across on camera. And we don't need to be done with the last topic.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we spent 2 minutes on it. We can always talk more about it.
Yeah.
But the next thought that I had was the way I want to come across on camera, I don't want exactly what he said there. Like, I don't want it to seem like I'm the one who needs to be the like I want to be the interesting person.
Yeah.
Like I would love to be a great podcast host and just be really good at listening.
Yeah.
And I think that is something I'd like to practice and use podcasts to practice it, is just I want to practice listening to people.
Yeah. I think that's probably why Joe Rogan has the most, I think he still has the most like famous podcast in the world. Or at least in the United States.
Keep talking. Let me see if I can face you.
I can also try to rotate.
I mean, it's a dangerous game, friendo.
Yeah.
That whole back foot is not going to be on anything, and that's okay.
Yeah. I'm using these sketchy rocks to...
I'm at least kind of comfortable.
Yeah, not too bad.
Now I'll rotate so my groin isn't in the
There
thing.
you go. Yeah, Joe Rogan has such a good podcast because he listens really well. Like he knows a lot about many different things, things, but he has such unique people on his podcast all the time that they know something he doesn't, and I think that's the whole point. That's probably why he wanted to start his podcast. Was like, I just want to learn as much as I can, and the best way to do that
Curiosity,
is,
basically.
yeah, to like have a conversation with people, and I can learn about, you know, even in the car right here, like I got to learn all about, maybe not all about it, but I got to learn a lot about your work and your process and what you love to do, and I got to learn about certain things. And so like, yeah, I think that's a good point. Is like really good listening, and then also asking just intentional questions to just be able to understand.
And if I
guess
think I know everything, I'm never going to be able to learn anything new because I'm never going to listen to the new thing you might have to teach me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes people like again, Joe Rogan. He's relatable because he doesn't know about all these like crazy things. He's like an average person, just an average rich person, wanted to learn about
Yeah.
other things, and through that process,
Dude,
of
I
him
would
asking
love
those
to be an
questions-
average rich person.
Same. Yeah, just be like, you know, I have an average level of knowledge, maybe even less than that, but I get to meet new people and enjoy life. I lost my train of thought, but I don't know. It's just like a cool idea to be able to sit down and learn, and then the audience gets to learn as well, and it's not just an obnoxious person talking at you for 2-3 hours, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard, what it made me think of, I heard this guy talk about how to read better.
Mhm.
I suck at reading. I don't know about you. Like,
Me too.
I don't read books.
Yeah, neither do I.
I can't remember the last book. I had a period last year where I said I'm going to try to read a book a week,
Yeah.
and that worked for like 1.5 weeks. And it's just maybe I said a chapter a night is what I said.
Okay.
Which seems manageable.
Yeah.
But it's manageable until you miss 3 days in a row, and then you're going to give up.
Yep.
There's a guy I listened to. I didn't read his book. I bought his book, but I haven't read his book yet. There's a guy I listened to, and he basically said when he reads books, he doesn't write down what the person said. He writes down the first thing he thought about when he read something that impacted him, which I thought was just like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That kind of like you assign value to your own thoughts is one thing. Another thing that you do is like it's more difficult to remember a thing someone said than a thing you felt when you heard them say it, I
Yeah.
guess. So I don't know why that felt relatable to what we were talking about before, but something.
Yeah.
Probably something there.
Absolutely. And I think that's like, I guess that's how I felt in college too, because it's like I'm being forced to read things and also forced to listen to something that I don't really care about.
Sure.
But when there's like, kind of what you're saying, when you're relating a topic to your experience or like what you kind of felt, or however like maybe you related that to something that you did as a kid or whatever, then it means something to you, and then it like sticks throughout. Whereas like, I don't know,
Yeah.
things you're forced to do don't really do that as much. I've tried to sit down and read Jackie Hill Perry's book literally 3 times,
I bet.
and I've gotten through the first chapter.
Yeah. I have a book that actually has impacted me a lot, but I've only read like the first 3 or 4 chapters.
Nice.
Because I get to the part that I like and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna actually read further this time.
Yeah.
And then I'm so excited about the thing that I previously remembered, I just never finished the book.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to like
Yeah.
continue to pursue that. But
One thought I had for what could be a good podcast is kind of what we were just talking about, with you saying in college they made me read a bunch of things I didn't care about. There was an article that somebody from our church recommended to me. He texted it to me before service one day, and I didn't read it before service because I didn't have enough time. But I actually have sat down and read the whole article, and it was an awesome article, and I really, really liked it. And what it made me think was, what if I started a podcast where I get people to recommend an article to me, or recommend something to me that has really impacted their life, let it impact my life a certain amount, and then have them on a podcast where we just basically do like a book club. And
Yeah.
because like when are you ever going to find a group of people that's all really excited to read the same thing?
Yeah.
It's just never going to
It's not
happen.
gonna happen.
But maybe if you found an article, or you know of an article that you really like, or even a YouTube video,
Yeah.
you sent me a YouTube video that you really like that really has impacted you, and then you and I just break down that video or break down that article because it's impacted you. Maybe it'll impact me, and we can talk about what we can gain and what we can take from that article.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think another aspect to that too is like we could even, I think sometimes when I think about this, I think about one of my brothers. He's like so into the ocean, so into like sharks and fish, and like just wants to know everything about it, and he knows so much about it. And sometimes when I like go to the beach or something like that with him, like by myself, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool, like that was a lot of fun. But then when you go to the beach and like explore the tide pools or something like that with him, he's like telling you everything about anything, and it's super fun because it's like you get to learn about it. So it's like we could also along with that like go on adventures like that, learn some, or I don't know, go do something with someone that they love doing, talk about it with them, talk about their experience with it, and then also like, I don't know, break that down and see what it was like for us too. In a sense, like trying new things when we're doing it. I don't know.
That's a great idea with what we've been talking about all day being the mobile podcast thing.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, we'll take your brother to the tide pools, he'll nerd out for a little while, and then we'll sit down and film an hour-long podcast where we just talk about it.
yeah,
And you get to have the videos of you doing the thing beforehand. So you
Yeah.
got 5-minute intro of just us doing the tide pools with your brother,
yeah,
and then we do a mobile podcast in just a sick-looking location,
yeah,
and we just sit down at the beach with the ocean in the background. We figure out our microphone. We talk to Mr. Ty
yeah,
about how to how to actually make a mobile podcasting thing work.
yeah,
But that would be really sick.
yeah. And it's like cool because you
I
just
love
get to
that
spend
idea.
time with people and build community, build relationships, and
Doing what they like.
yeah, exactly,
Now, like you and I are never going to be interesting enough to be able to entertain everybody.
exactly,
Why would we even try?
yeah,
Why don't we just ask a person, hey, you have a thing you like? Fred, you have a thing you like? Take us to do the thing and then talk to us about it, and we're going to have a podcast about it.
yeah, exactly. We could go to Disneyland with Caro.
It would be perfect. It would literally be perfect.
That'd be so fun.
She could tell us about all the different hidden Mickeys that she knows about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we could do that with our wives.
Yeah,
Like the things that your wife is interested in, it would probably make you and your wife grow even closer. It would give you a weird appreciation for the things that she likes in a
Absolutely.
completely different way.
yeah,
And, you know, at a certain point, you don't want to totally try to find ways to monetize your marriage, but
yeah,
not that, you know, the 6 viewers we're getting on this one, you know.
yeah, exactly. 2 of them are our wives, one of them's
Yeah.
Kaya.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm gonna get Kaya to make her own YouTube profile so she can get us a 3rd view instead of
Yeah.
just watching it with her mom.
There you go.
I love that idea though,
Yeah,
to get even better than what we've been talking about here.
yeah.
Maybe not better.
Just a
Same
new
but
way.
different.
Yeah,
I mean,
just a different way.
people have different shows on the same platform, right?
Yeah,
It's like, hey, this is just a new version. This is what Keith does.
Yeah.
And this is what Nate does.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Start a whole empire.
exactly. It's just like, because people will relate to us in some way, but then like
Totally.
you said, they need the new content. So it's like, oh, it's the guys that we like, just doing something new.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, just a different way
Totally.
to hit people, and then they can get that new information that people are going to nerd out on, and it's going to be great.
Basically, let's do Joe Rogan's podcast, but we'll go do the thing with the person that
Yeah.
they're interested in.
Yeah. Dude, imagine if we got like Elon Musk on our podcast someday.
We got to go to
and we got
space.
That'd be
Dude,
sick.
oh my god. That would be sick.
That'd be so cool.
Who else? I guess Elon Musk just is the coolest person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
He builds fancy cars.
We
and
got
goes to
Trump on our
space.
podcast, and we got to go to China or whatever.
Go to North Korea
That'd be
and then
sick.
see the wall.
Oh my gosh. We have, I don't know why I can't think of anyone else interesting.
I know. No one ever is interesting.
That's what I was, Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we could have Joe Rogan on, and then just see who can outdo the other in asking questions about their life.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah,
The thing is, his life at the moment is so much more interesting than ours.
so much more interesting.
Have you watched very much of his podcasts?
I used to watch them all the time in college.
I used to watch them all the time too, and I
Yeah.
kind of last year, like I kind of stopped,
Yeah,
and I don't know. He had some weird people on the podcast though.
yeah,
The one that stands out to me is he had the beekeeper lady. She's from Texas, and I don't know, she's a beekeeper lady.
yeah,
But he had her on the podcast. Imagine with what we're talking about, we just go do beekeeping
yeah,
and then film a podcast about it after.
yeah,
So then part of it is like, I don't know how, like, I can imagine having questions to ask people after you've done the thing
Yeah.
with them. But Joe Rogan's actually super impressive
yeah.
because he probably does have, come on, Joe Rogan's probably got a whole secret life.
Oh yeah, he definitely does. He has a secret bunker somewhere in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
where he stores all his deer that he hunts.
And he just does beekeeping in one of the chambers of his bunker. So
Yeah.
that's why he knew what to ask the beekeeper lady.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, he's just been around the block, so he
Yeah.
knows the types of questions to ask.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a level of research and preparation that his team does,
Yeah.
where he's like, oh, you guys should ask like this question or whatever. And that'll play that out for you.
But instead of us having to do any research and prep work, our research and prep work is that beginning hour of us doing the thing with the person that
Yeah.
they wanted to show us.
Yeah. That'd be so cool.
That'd be super easy. We would get to do more cool, fun things.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun. What else could we do?
Now, who do we know? I have been asking people, like I asked Ty the other day, can I go with you to one of your shoots? I asked him that because I'm legitimately interested to see what he does on a daily basis at work.
Yeah.
We had a friend the other day, her name is Drew, and I asked her as well. She is in the Hollywood world. I asked her, hey, can I go to an audition with you? Just because I want to experience what it's like, and no one's asking me to auditions.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool just to go watch and like get the feelings and get the experience with the person. And she said to me, yeah, you probably can't come in there with me, obviously,
Yeah.
but you could go wait in the waiting room with me. And I said, honestly, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Like even that boring part of this exciting thing you do sounds cool, and I want to just go and experience it.
Yeah. 'Cause it's like they're bringing you along their process, like the prep work,
Yeah.
everything like that. You can't see like the product, but it's like
Totally.
it's so cool. It's exciting to like live life with other people.
Yeah.
Because when you get excited about walking down a creek and exploring a tunnel, I'm like, dude, now I'm really excited because
Totally.
it's just like people feed off each other's energy, and it's just
Yeah.
like I don't know, you just like do fun things and enjoy life together, and that's just like I don't know how we build relationships and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be an epic podcast.
It's going to be an epic podcast. What are we going to call this thing? You had a recommendation yesterday, I forgot.
I think it was called Bearded Bros and Beliefs.
Bearded Bros and Beliefs. A lot of B's there.
Yeah.
Nate Wagner would be proud.
Oh yeah, he'd be stoked for us. Yeah. What else could it be? That's the only one that ChatGPT can't do for me that stood out to me.
So we'll call this first episode Bearded Bros and Beliefs.
Yeah.
And it's not, it can be the name of our podcast. It totally can be.
Yeah.
We don't need to lock ourselves to it. But we'll title this first episode Bearded Bros and Beliefs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. It could even be like literally just the mobile podcast.
The mobile podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
The mobile podcast. What else? I mean, we kind of have gotten off of the nature, like the soul nature part of it,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is good.
Yeah.
I think the finding things other people, like I'm interested in hiking in
Yeah.
Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be, and I don't only want to have guests on that are interested in hiking in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Like, we totally can. We can have some of those episodes, but that was one thing I remember Joe Rogan talking about. Joe, as if I know him personally. I was chatting with Joe the other day, and that's one interesting thing that he said was he tries to not have too many of the same type of guest in a row.
Yeah.
So he'll try not to have two back-to-back liberal guests or two
Yeah.
back-to-back conservative guests, or not have too many fighters in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forget what he said about comedians, but it was something like comedians are easy to have on a bunch. Actually, I do remember. Comedians are easy to have on a bunch, but a comedian is really bad at listening.
Yeah.
The comedians really want to be the one to get their next joke off, so they're not really listening to what Keith is saying.
Yeah.
I, the comedian, am just trying to come up with the next joke to be able to tell, and I'm ignoring what you're saying, and I'm not a good listener.
Yeah.
So they make good podcast guests, but bad podcast hosts.
Okay. Interesting.
I would love to be a comedian, but I would also love to be better at listening.
Yeah. That's interesting that Joe Rogan is so good at it then. Oh, well, I guess he didn't start out in comedy. Maybe he did, I can't remember. But I know he also does stand-up comedy, but he's a fantastic listener.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe that's just like, I mean, he's been a UFC commentator for so long and interviewing people. And was it like, not Survivor, what was
Fear
he?
Factor.
Fear Factor,
Yeah.
there you go.
Did you ever watch that?
I watched a few episodes.
I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. It's like weird seeing him look like a normal person and not this like short giant. And also with hair, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I guess he just has a lot of experience with different things, and maybe he just got good at listening and asking good questions. So, and that's something that I want to get good at too, is just like asking like really good intentional questions. And I think like if you ask, kind of like we I guess already talked about. So sorry if this is repetitive, but if you ask someone about something that they're really excited about they could likely talk about it forever.
Totally.
And so,
Endless amount of content.
exactly, yeah. So we just need to find people and ask them about their life and what they live in. So,
On the topic of being repetitive, I'm going to set you up. Here's a question. When you hear a sermon point that you've heard before, are you annoyed that you're rehearing the sermon point? Or are you kind of like, oh, I've heard this before, I'm excited that everyone else in the room is going to get to hear this point that's being made again?
I think it's a mix. It's a mixed bag, I'd say. Where if someone brings up a point that I've heard 1,000 times or whatever, sometimes it'll just like roll off my back. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's like a really good point. If there's like a friend that I'm bringing to church that has never heard about like the concept of forgiveness or something like that, or I don't know, I guess that's just like a simple example, then I'm like, oh, I'm so excited for this person to hear that like there's a Savior out there that wants to forgive them and bring them into his kingdom with them. I think the thing that gets me really excited is when someone brings up a point that is not as common.
Totally.
And I think Daniel actually does a really good job of that. There's several times in like the last few weeks that he's brought up a point in the sermon where I'm like, oh wow, like that's not as common that people talk about that point. They more so focus on like the bigger picture, but then there's also like the smaller thing in here that is also really important, but just not touched on as much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of where I stand with some of this stuff.
I didn't hear you ever say that you're annoyed by repetition, though.
Yeah, I think there's also there's an aspect where it's like I go to Apostles Church every Sunday. Daniel's not preaching on the same thing. Like he will share the gospel in a different way, but I think that's the cool thing about the gospel is it's so beautiful that how could you ever get tired of that?
Totally.
But it's not like he's preaching on the same thing like Daniel in the Lion's Den or something like that every single Sunday. So maybe he's talking about a different passage and then bringing the gospel into it somehow or some way. But then if I go on my phone and I listen to the same Tim Keller podcast like every single day, then maybe eventually I might get bored with it. But
Same Tim Keller, meaning like the same episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the same sermon
Yeah.
every single day, and then I'll be like, okay, like I'm ready for something new.
Totally.
I think maybe an aspect where not necessarily get annoyed is like if someone is talking about a passage and they consistently do it where there's just not very much depth to it. It's just very surface level, and they're not like really digging deeper into the weeds. Like I think I appreciate it when a pastor does that, because I don't know. If you and I sit down and read like the same passage, there are going to be things that you get out of it that I don't, and I appreciate those deeper things. So I don't know if there is necessarily a time when I'm annoyed with that type of sermon. I'm just like, oh, I wish, like I'm hungry for a little bit more.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was getting after is, and I think you answered it perfectly, if you're pulling the same point out of different topics, it's like, hey, the point is Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
If we can see that in Genesis, and also see that in Exodus, and also see that in John, and also see that in Galatians, it's all the same point.
Yeah.
But we're pulling it out of different areas, and it's cool to see how that same exact point, my point again, Jesus is the way.
Yeah. Jesus
Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. If we see that, it cements that belief into us.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the repetition of the point that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, it doesn't get old or tiring. And
Yeah.
hey, we could say in every single one of our podcasts, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. We also don't have to. Not everything needs to be a Christian podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it will creep in no matter what.
Absolutely.
Of-
Yeah.
how
It's the
can it
biggest part
not?
of our life. Like, how could it not? come
Exactly.
into
How could it not?
conversation?
But I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to be less afraid of repeating myself,
Mhm.
because maybe the first time I explained it, I didn't explain it well enough. Maybe
Yeah.
the second time I explain it, someone will be excited to hear the same thing twice, explained from a slightly different angle,
Yeah.
or brought in from a slightly different context, or brought in from something like that. So
Yeah.
I guess it's given me personally a lot of freedom to not feel like I always have to come up with a great idea,
Yeah.
a great new idea every single time, because
Yeah.
it's not really what pastors are doing. They're not really telling you a new idea.
Yeah. It's the
They're
same
just
thing, just in a different
regurgitating.
form.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh no, I was yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No,
You
no
continue.
problem.
Um,
It's just a pastor, telling you this is what this passage means,
Mhm.
and the reason we know this is what this passage means is because this is the rest of what the Bible says,
Mhm.
and this is what the other smart people say, and this is what the other pastors say, and this is what history tells us, this is what the early church thought. He's not really coming up with anything new.
Yeah.
And we sit there every week. Why do we sit there? Because we love to hear things that matter, things that are impactful. We love to hear the word of God. Why do we go to church every week? There's a great question. Why do you go to church every week?
I kind of like you just said, I love the Word of God, but I also think that the biggest reason that I go to church is for community, because I can get a great sermon on my phone, like no problem. I can access the best sermons in the world,
Yeah.
but like the thing that's missing from that is that community aspect, because it's like kind of like we were talking about at the beginning of when we were talking, is just like there is something special about like walking in life with people, because there are certain things in the Bible that I just don't understand. Maybe I will never understand them, but maybe you might. And so like we can walk through life together, growing in our relationship with God, challenging one another as men, as husbands, as like I'm not a father yet, but maybe someday I will be, and challenging each other as fathers. And it's like there's just an aspect where it's like we can walk through life together and embrace the suck together and help each other through that, encourage one another, and then what's that passage say? Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's something really beautiful about the community aspect, and that's probably like the biggest reason that's like I want to go to church, because then I can be with my brothers and sisters in Christ and learn and grow together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, if the preaching sucks, it's hard to stay there.
Yeah.
because even like you said, I can access the greatest sermons in the world, and I do. I listen to a lot of sermons on my own. I'm sure that there are people at our church that do as well, but there's also probably a lot of people who don't. So if the preaching is bad, it's like, well, the only thing that these people I'm in community with are being fed is kind of garbage.
Yeah.
I don't really want to be a part of that church. So this sermon can't be crap. Like, it has to still be good, because that is kind of the thing that we're all doing together. We're all in community going to listen to the Word of God be preached to us. But then, yes, you're right. It is kind of the interaction with the people. That is one thing I've been thinking a lot about, honestly, the last few years, is when we go to church, how much of the post-church time do you spend, you, Keith, do you spend talking to people about the sermon?
Probably not enough time. Not a lot of time, I'd say.
I don't spend a lot of time either.
Yeah.
But isn't that like, I mean, it was the worship and the sermon and the announcements and I mean, that's the liturgy right there. And
Yeah.
the communion, like, those are the things that we all just did together. Why are we trying to find other things? Like, we need to have other things in common too. But we know we have those things in common. Why don't we just talk about those things?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk more about the things that we know we have in common, which is Jesus Christ and Him crucified for our sins? Just a thought.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think there was someone that I was actually talking about that idea with a few weeks ago. And they were like, oh, I don't really like my current church because we don't really have conversations about the sermon after the service.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but I've heard like really great things about your church. And then I was like, you know what, to be honest though, most churches that I've been to, I barely have conversations with people about, and there's definitely something that I can do to change that. But if you're expecting other people to do that, good luck, basically.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not common. Like, kind of like you just said, like, it's very common for people to just like talk about their week, talk about work. I don't know what they did on their free Saturday or something like that, but yeah, there is an aspect where it's like, you're right. Like, why are we not talking about Jesus, the most important thing, what should be the most important thing in our life? Why are we not talking about Him more? We're talking about what we're learning about Him more. In like that time where it's like we don't have to schedule this person for coffee because it's like we're already there together. Like, we can have a deep conversation about God.
Totally.
And having those coffee conversations is amazing. We should definitely do that as well. But yeah, we're already together in the house of God. Like, let's talk about it more. If that makes sense.
And that's why the church should make a coffee shop.
There you go. But then capitalism. Jesus is gonna come in and flip the tables.
Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna flip a lot of things the next time he comes, though. So
That's true.
I don't know. We might be okay.
Yeah.
I think a coffee
tables
shop might be
not-
okay.
Yeah.
It might not be at the top of his priority list.
Probably not. Yeah.
Fine, we won't serve coffee. Let's just put tables in a room. We can go down the street and buy coffee and come back.
There you go.
Or at that point, just go to the coffee shop. Why do we gotta? Yeah,
But here's the thing. Someone already makes coffee on Sundays.
it's true.
We already have tables.
It's true.
We just need to bring the coffee into the table room and sit down.
Genius. That could be the name of the podcast: Coffee in the Table Room. Welcome back to Coffee in the Table Room. I'm your host.
We're clearly not in the table room, but
This is not the table room. Where are we now, Keith?
we are in the creek behind the table room.
Behind the table room. Yep.
Yeah, behind the church, basically. Just ripped my ring a little bit, but that's okay.
Do you like those?
I do and I do not. I like them for when I'm like going to the gym or something like that, because I don't have to worry about scratching up my like nice sort of wedding ring. But the reason I wear these ones so much is just because I need to get my I need to send my wedding ring back to the company to get a bigger size because it doesn't quite fit. Once I do that, then I'll wear my wedding ring. But these are pretty convenient. Which is nice. I don't have to care about them.
I just ordered 2 more rings. I just have $14 rings from Amazon.
Nice.
I just keep one of them in my keys and stuff. And I take it off a lot though. It's not really so much about the scratching, like you mentioned. It's more, it makes my finger hurt.
Yeah.
For some reason, my finger just hurts all the time. And the other thing is, people always talk about, what do you call it, like defingering, or I forget what it is
Oh
called.
yeah, like your ring gets caught and it
Gets
rips your
caught and
finger
rips
off.
your finger off. I'm kind of scared of that.
Yeah,
So like
same.
all the time, I'm taking it off. That's what Kara and I say every time. Like I find my ring after having not worn it for a day or something. We're like, oh yes, I'm married again. Yeah.
Yeah, when Chris and I first got married, she just like wasn't used to wearing. She was more used to it than I was because she had an engagement ring. But there would be times that she like forgot her ring for like going to the gym because she takes hers off and puts on a silicone ring for when we work out or something like that. And I kept making a joke. It's not that funny, but if she forgot her ring, I'm like, Krista, like people are gonna think I'm with a mistress. Like you need to put our ring on. So yeah, but she's gotten good at always remembering to put on her rings. Yeah.
To be meta for a second here,
Yeah.
I definitely think this started going better when we started facing each other.
Yeah.
Like
It's
at the
more
beginning, when
personal.
I was kind of facing, like it felt very performative,
Yeah.
and halfway through, it just felt like we were just hanging out and having
Yeah.
a conversation.
Yeah. That's
Which is
exactly what it should be.
exactly, it's exactly what it should be. I am annoyed that I've been like this the whole time because I am cold.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little cold.
I am definitely starting to get cold. I don't want to look like I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like I'm mad. I wish I could talk now. So that's just a thing to think about.
Yeah.
Is like, how do we make sure that we, even just like I want to appear like I'm engaged in this conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want to kind of just like I don't want to have this podcast. Like
Yeah.
I would prefer to like have this podcast.
Yeah, it's like a little bit more like sitting up straight and
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can invest in some taller chairs.
Yeah. Here's an idea. Since we were talking about floating things down the river to set up our mobile podcasting studio, something I really want to do in my house is I want to put like a restaurant booth.
Oh, nice.
How sick would it be to like on the side of something just like put a restaurant booth?
That'd be so cool.
And now you're filming your podcast. We're sitting at a restaurant booth. There's a sick scenery around us.
Yeah.
You get to hear the creek when it rains because it's not always going to be flowing like this.
Yeah.
That could
Yeah.
be just part of the podcast. Is
be
sometimes
so
the
cool.
water's flowing. Like if we built a tree house here and put a restaurant booth so that we can just kind of sit like this.
Yeah.
So then we're exposing ourselves to each other and not the camera.
Yeah.
And just had a restaurant booth in the middle of the woods.
That'd be perfect.
That'd be
That'd be so cool. Treehouse and a restaurant booth.
Treehouse and a restaurant booth.
That'd be awesome.
That is our first mission, is to figure out where are we going to build a treehouse.
Yes.
And it honestly, it just needs to be a platform. It doesn't need to be anything crazy at
Yeah.
first. Just we need to find somewhere to build a platform to put a restaurant booth.
Yeah. I feel like we could find that.
I think so too.
I don't know where it is yet, but we can find it.
Growing up, I lived by Dos Cobos High School,
Mhm.
and there is like a woodsy area behind the high school, and there was just a tree house there that we used to go to when we were kids. But somebody built that, and why don't we film a podcast in that type of environment?
Dude. So where, it's like Dos Canyon Road or something like that.
Yeah,
Like up to 101.
it's called something. Do you remember? Do you know that it's called something, or do you not know that?
I didn't know that it's called
Okay.
something.
Let me
It's like
see
a
if I
giant
can
field.
remember. Keep talking, and I'll maybe I'll remember.
Yeah, anyway, there's this big property that, I've been there countless times. That's where I proposed to Chris on the cliffside right there. And on the property, there's several different like abandoned buildings. One's like an old abandoned house. The other one's like a little shed. So we could even do something with that if we wanted to.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, there's tons of trees. Whether we can easily build a platform. There's even a fire pit down there. It'd be epic.
maybe to incorporate every good idea we've come up with so far, the format of the podcast can be me and you talking to each other is our normal podcast, and we go to our cool treehouse location.
Yeah.
But then also separate from that, we do what you were talking about with going with your brother to tide pools, hearing about what he has to say, and then setting up a mobile podcast at the beach after you've been in the tide pools, or
Yeah.
whatever anyone's interested in.
Yeah. Yeah. that'd be
Because
awesome.
like, I don't want to give up any of these ideas. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they're all cool.
Yeah, they're all great and they could all work pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. My toes are freezing now.
Should we wrap it up?
Sure.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I don't know how to wrap it up, but
I don't know.
you have anything you want to? There we go. Any other like ceremonial thing you want to do at the end of a podcast?
I have no idea, to be honest. I guess I need to listen closely more to end of podcast.
Yeah. I don't know what they're like either.
I don't know. This episode is sponsored by no one because we are just starting out.
Yep. This episode is brought to you by grass.
Thank you, Lord.
You can't smoke it, but it's still great.
There we
Alrighty.
go. That was fun.
That was fun. I mean, I could moon the camera, but I want someone to see this at some point.
Yeah.